Hello there, and welcome back to the next module in the course on statistics or data analysis and probability. We are up to the section on categorical data. So the formal name of this is displaying categorical data. And if you roll on over a page, let's take a look at what categorical data is. And then we'll look at how to display that. So the first thing I want to do is give you a definition for categorical data. And you may have heard the word category before. If you have young children, they learn in kindergarten and first grade to put things in categories. So they're starting out very early with categorical data. And this is data that can be grouped into categories. And another name for this is nominal data. And nominal means naming. So categorical data is data that you can put into categories, like boys and girls, tall and short, age ranges like elementary, middle, high school, things that you can categorize, colors, blue, red, green, things that you can group by category, dogs and cats, Italian, Mexican, American food, different kinds of categories. And then one more term is legend. A legend is a key on a graph that shows what colors and symbols mean. Okay. A legend. And you should always pay attention to the legend. Don't ignore that, because a legend is there for a reason. I also want you to know, just for good grammar, that the word data is plural. So if you're writing a sentence, you would say data are. Data is more than one. The singular form is datum or datum. So if you're talking about one piece of data, you would say datum or datum. And that would go with the verb is. So data are, datum is. Those are the singular plurals. And that really has nothing to do with the math, but it's good grammar, and you need to know that as a high school graduate. Okay, so you and I are going to build a graph here, a bar graph, to show some categorical data, more than one. So first thing I want you to do is I'm going to zoom in here so you can see really well what I'm doing. And you're going to need a straight edge to draw a really nice graph. And here's the title of our graph. Sales at Ice Cream Haven. Okay. So Ice Cream Haven is an ice cream store in my city, and we have 2 locations for Ice Cream Haven. We have a mall location and we have a medical center location at our hospital. And we're going to make a graph to compare those 2 categories. We're going to compare the mall sales to the medical center sales and decide which location, if either of them, has more sales. So if you ever get a job in quality control or advertising, if you like that kind of thing, graphs are awesome ways to track those kinds of things. So the first thing that you and I need to do is to draw the graph. We need to plot the axes points. So up here, I want you to just right about there. We're going to call that 14. I want you to skip a dot, and you can pause your video if you need to really see what I'm doing. Skip a dot, 10, skip a dot, 8, skip a dot, 6, skip a dot, 4, skip a dot, 2, and skip a dot, 0. And you may be thinking, why is this crazy lady doing this? Why did she not just draw this for me? Because I want you to know how to do this if you ever have to do this in a college class or whatever. So here comes the straight edge. Now watch me do this before you do it, and you won't have to erase. So stop what you're doing and watch me do this, and then you can do it. I'm going to bring a vertical axis right down through here. Okay. And I went too far because I did this on purpose for this one. We can't drop below 0 for this graph. So let's not go below 0. And if you can't erase, it's okay. Just let 0 be the bottom. This is called the vertical axis. Okay. And this one, I'm going to have to lock my screen, so bear with me just a minute. I don't want to stop. I want to, sorry, this is not a good thing. Okay, I'm not going to mess with it. Let's just this is going to be dollars. I thought I could lock, but I can't. So dollars in thousands. And I meant to write it right in here. That's what I was trying to do. So on yours, you can turn your book sideways. Just write it right in there. So these represent thousands of dollars, from 0 thousands to $14,000 in sales. Okay, when you're ready, I want you to go ahead with your straight edge and bring that line on over. Let me try that again here. I am still taking some cold medicine that's making me very shaky. So here is the horizontal axis. And for our graph, this is going to be the months of the year. But we're not going to look at all the months. We're only going to look at July through November. Okay. And then on this, we need a legend. We need a key. So let's make a box there. Sorry, that was supposed to be a square. Let's try again. There we go. And this is going to be our mall location. And then I need another box for our medical center location. Because remember, this is categorical data. And then we need to pick a color. And I'm using, mine is a little bit easier to do, I know. So I'm going to let yellow be my mall color, and then let's let this pretty blue be our medical center color. Okay, so let's come back up here, and again I want you to watch what I do before you do it so you don't have to erase. And I'm not going to talk, I'm just going to draw it, and then I'll explain what it is I'm doing here. Okay, the first one, I'm going to go up here to my 8, and I'm going to make a bar right here. And then right beside it at the 6, I'm going to do the same thing. So I want you to draw what I just drew. The first bar to the 8 and the second bar to the 6, and write in July. And then my mall color, remember I'm using yellow, so I'm going to color my first bar yellow. And you could use a red pen and a blue pen, or a pencil and no pencil, just do one bar with pencil and one without, just like that, whatever you want to do. Colored pencils work very well. Okay. So let's take a look here and see if we can figure out what this says. We drew this pretty picture, but so what? All right, so this is saying the mall in July sold $8,000 worth of ice cream. The medical center in July sold $6,000. Okay, let's skip a line and do August. So for August, again, watch what I do, and you won't have to erase. I want to go up to the 5, and then all the way up to the 7. So this time it looks a little different. 5 and 7. So this month, which is August, the medical center did better. They sold way more ice cream than the mall location. And there may be a reason for that, or it may just be coincidence. We really don't know by looking at this graph. But this is August. And I can't squeeze all that in there, so I'm just going to abbreviate. Okay, for September, I'm going to go all the way up to the 12 to start my line. Sorry, I went a little too far. So 12, and that's pitiful. You can see why I gave you graph paper to do this. We're almost done. We're not going to keep drawing forever. And then for the hospital location, let's drop to 6. So this time, look at what happened. The mall was double the hospital amount. So if you color that bar, you can really see the contrast. I like coloring, but you don't have to. The colors just help you with your legend, help you show different data on one graph. Computer programs will do this for you. They make some beautiful graphs. It really is interesting to see those. Okay, the next one, let's do 1 or 2 more just to get the practice. For October, I want to go to the 8. Let me get a straight edge going on here. So here's 8. There is the mall, and the hospital is 10. Try to straighten that up. Okay, so the mall is yellow, but let me do. So you can kind of tell with this one that there's not really a pattern, that this is just sort of bouncing around all over the place. Some months the hospital does better, some months the mall does better. Looks like both locations are doing fairly well. If I were the owner of this shop, I probably would not look at closing either one. We could figure out the total sales for the mall, the total sales for the hospital, total sales in all, and we could keep plotting on out. I'm going to stop here just because I don't want you to get bored. And we have a pretty nice graph there that we could look at. So I wanted to show you one example here where this could be a test question, and then we'll stop this video. But what if the test question said, compare the means of the two locations for these months? And I wanted to show you this to show you why the key or the legend is so important. So what I would need to do, I need to get the mall mean, and then I need to get the medical center mean. So let's go ahead first and do the mall. And remember, the mall is just the yellow. So I have an 8, a 5, a 12, and an 8. 8, 5, 12, and 8. And we are doing this for how many months? 4. So here's your mean. 8 plus 5 plus 12 plus 8 is 33. And you divide that by 4. And that's 8.25 thousand. Because remember, this is in thousands of dollars. I'm trying to think the best way to show you how to get this into money. Actually, I'm not even going to go there. Let's just leave it at 8.25 thousand. Or $8,250. Okay, then we need to get the medical center mean. So we're going to do another problem just like that using the blue bars. So we have 6, 7, 6, and 10. 6, 7, 6, and 10. And we're dividing for the same 4 months. It's the same data time. That's what allows us to compare. So 6 plus 7 plus 6 plus 10 is 29. Divided by 4. And that's 7.25 thousand. Or 7,250. So by doing this, I can tell you that the mall location for these 4 months did a little bit better. Not a whole lot, $1,000 more on average, but you can compare things this way. So to write this mathematically, you would say that the mall location was greater than the medical center, because the mall location had $8,250 as opposed to the $7,250 at the medical center average for these 4 months. Okay. So that's how they can ask you questions related to your graph based on the data that you have. There are lots of things you can do with this kind of information. So we'll look at another example in the next video.